Is the customer always right? Well, what if it's clear to you what this person needs, and he just doesn't know the best way to ask for it? And where is the line between interacting with the customer and just plain wasting time, especially if it's on the phone? Well, my guest today is Judy McKee of McKee Consulting, and Judy has been working with companies to achieve customer service excellence for over 30 years. She is the queen of telephone center support, but certainly knows a thing or two about face-to-face customer support as well. With her copyrighted LAMA approach, L-A-M-A, customer interaction becomes more comfortable and effective. We'll hear from Judy McKee herself right after my public speaking tip of the week here on Full Speech Ahead, so stay tuned.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are free at last! Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Each one of you has your own platform. Mine is a stage in a studio. Yours is wherever you are.
Last month on a Skype call, one of my public speaking coaching clients had a problem. He really wanted the people in his audience to know the services that he provides because it could lead to some spin-off business after the speech. But the organization had that common cause in their agreement, no selling from the platform. Well, he was already volunteering to speak. If he didn't get to tell them about his services, there was nothing in it at all for him. Although he had already read my book on speaking skills, I had to remind him about a chapter where I had addressed just this issue. I showed him how he could reference the skills he offers within his teaching. That way the audience is aware of them. He just had to stop short of saying, "And if you could use that service, please hire me," because that would be too obvious. So how does this work? Well, I've already done it twice, just since starting the tip of the week. First, I mentioned that this happened to a client of mine during a Skype call. So if you had just turned in, you would know you were listening to a public speaking coach, and I made it sort of clear, at least in passing, that I do work with people long distance over Skype. Second, by showing him the book, I've let the listening audience know that I have a book. I never told you to go buy my book or anything like that, but if you enjoy my programs, hopefully you'd just think of that yourself. Doing it this way, I'm yet to have a client tell me they were upset about my selling from the platform. Now granted, doing this twice in 30 seconds like I just did might be a bit much, but hey, I gotta teach fast in the tip of the week, don't I? Because we've got a great guest to interview now, so let's get to that. My guest today is Judy McKee. Judy McKee is a nationally known motivational speaker, seminar leader, sales trainer, and author, and she believes in motivation through education, and her commitment definitely shines. She's the creator of the LAMA, L-A-M-A technique, which we'll talk about later, used all over the world in call center communications. Judy's a pioneer in the telemarketing industry with clients in the top 500 companies. She's the co-author of The Positive Coach Approach, and her book, The Positive Coach Approach, is available, which we'll talk about later. Her website is McKeeConsultingLLC.com. Judy, welcome to Full Speech Ahead.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so delighted that you invited me.
Oh, well, I'm delighted too. And for my listeners to know, the way I met Judy was about 12 years ago through the American Society of Training and Development. When I was brand new to it all, Judy actually stepped into one of the programs and was mentoring me. So it's a real honor to have you back and to see you as my guest. It's just a lovely little turnaround. So for the people who don't know, I know you see yourself as a trainer more than the other things that you do. That's your primary role. And that you use the art of communication through the spoken word. So what's the most important message of your training or the keynotes that you're giving?
I just love when people ask me that question because it is the one thing you want to do as a person. You know, you want to have some kind of a difference or make a difference whenever you get up either in front of the room to train someone or whether you're doing a 45-minute keynote. And I think the most important thing that I always want to communicate to people is that life will never work if you make another person feel wrong or stupid. It's the bottom line of our training. And of course, when I was probably preaching to you 12 years ago, the same thing. It is, how can we speak to our customer and how can we speak to the people we love without counting up the things they do right and wrong? And that's what I try to get them to do in all of my training courses. That's kind of like the foundation of it.
Talk about that counting up the things that you wrong, because when you said that, I felt a little kick inside of me of, oh, I can relate to that. So
Yes.
are we always doing that when we're in communication and we have to learn how to control it or make sure, even if we can't control it, at least that it doesn't come out?
Exactly. In fact, I think we're little judgment machines. I don't think we have time. I think what happens is we don't quite realize it, but I know you've been studying communication for all of your life, so you must know this as well, that we have thousands and millions of thoughts every day. And we grab the thoughts that we like or that we don't like sometimes when we're trying to be negative, or we just grab a hold of the thought. And if we're in my business, when they're on the phone with a customer, and let's say the customer's a little bit rude, that does happen. Well, when the agent takes it personally or suddenly wants to attack back, it destroys the opportunity for a relationship on that phone call.
Yeah, there are times you can feel when you're getting customer support, you can tell, I'm not their favorite person today. I didn't get the last thing they just said, or it wasn't quite what I was looking for. And you feel this, I don't want to interact with you from the other side. And it makes it hard to get good customer support, which I know is a big part of what you teach is customer support. So if you're on, let's flip it around for a second. If you're on the client end of it and you're starting to feel that from the person at the call center, how do you get things back on track?
Well, in our training course, we have already trained them in letting go of this whole idea that anybody can actually hurt you unless you agree to it. We call it making relationships work in the training. I call it never making anyone else feel wrong or stupid, or turn that around to a positive way. Always let the customer know that you think that they are smart and right to at least have gotten you on the phone. And that gives them a chance. The customer then has a chance, and so does the agent, because really agents go to work to do a good job. They don't get up in the morning, drive their kid off to nursery school, and get over to the call center and get all geared up to be checked by some quality call checker to do a bad job. I mean, they go there because they want to work and they want to do a good job, just like you do. You know, when I first met you, you knocked me out. You knocked my socks off. You were young, and you're still young, of course. I'm the one getting old. And the idea of taking yourself and starting to coach other people is so powerful, because you see, they're scared when they walk in the front of the room. They're scared when they pick up the telephone, only they don't want to admit it. If they at least have you or they have me where they can admit it, then we can start to correct the situations.
So I guess going back to my question, it isn't really even about making my end of it more comfortable. It's about making the call center person capable enough that I should never have to feel that way in the first place.
Exactly.
But not every
And
call
they can
center's
do
had
it.
you yet.
That a lot of them have not had me yet. You wouldn't believe how many calls I get from people during the course of my life that say, "Oh, you ought to go train so and so. They handled me very badly."
Yeah, if I could train everyone who came to me and said, "Would you please work with my boss?" and the answer is, "I'd love to," but no, I can't call your boss and say you need improvement in presentation skills. He's got to call me.
That's right, because if you did that, you see, you'd be breaking my rule. You'd make him wrong and stupid first, and then he's not going to hire you.
Yeah.
You have to somehow have your client feel that they did the right thing to call you.
It's jumping topics a little bit, but do you also do work with people on cold calling, which is very different than being on the incoming receiving side of that?
I can tell you not very much anymore. The world has shifted. About 1992, and you'll know this is true, isn't your mailbox more filled with mail than you ever imagined in your entire life that you would ever get all that mail?
Sure.
That's right. And that is because the world did not want people to call them that much. I mean, telemarketing, so to speak, was kind of killed. And by laws and when you can call and when you can't call, the industry kind of burned its own bridges there. So what happened was the commerce of the world, the marketing departments of the world, turned it around and said, all right, if they don't want us to call them, we'll figure out a way to get them to call us. That happened really literally in 1992, I can tell you that, because I was training only outbound then until 92, and the phone rang off the wall from places like Discover Card and Sears and big names, all saying, Judy, we want to use your technique because it's softer, and we want to use it because our customers are starting to call us.
Which is a good position to be in.
A great position to be in, and I've never left that position. I'm smart enough to see where the cookie crumbles right there.
My listeners have probably already picked up from listening to you, and I remember from first meeting you that stories are a big part of your your presentations and training. And when we come back from our first 30-second break here, we're going to talk about how you use stories in your presentations to make them as effective as possible. So we'll be right back after this.
Not another boring conference.
Liven it up with IMPROVentures and the fun of improvisation. Check out motivational speeches and entertainment that get everyone learning through play and laughter. For smaller groups, Teamprovising is our teamwork and communication program with more feedback and fun. Plus public dynamics, keynotes, training, and coaching on public speaking skills. You can be more effective in front of groups. Learn more today.
IMPROVentures, 619-542-0761, or see videos at IMPROVevents.com.
We are back with sales and customer support trainer Judy McKee. Judy, before the break, I asked, tell me more a little bit how stories relate to not only your training, but what you have people do when they're on the phone relating to stories and coaching other people they're working with.
Well, I don't teach people on the phone to use stories at all.
Oh, that's good to know.
No, I do not. I teach trainers to use stories when they're training agents, but agents would lengthen their call time, be in a lot of trouble if they started telling stories over the phone. They're not allowed to do that at all. They're supposed to cut their call time at all times, get the job done with the customer. That's why the llama works so well. But I will tell you this. I love that you asked me that question because you'll laugh at this. All of my career, and that's 30 years now in the call center training business, I always get, feedback from the trainees after the training. And when I do it, they say one of two things, always, where it says, what did you think? What comments do you have to make about the training that you just took? One group of people will say, I love the training, except she told too many stories. And then the other group says, I loved her training. I wish we could have heard more stories.
And there's no winning with that. I mean, in the National Speakers Association, this is an ongoing debate, especially as you cross cultures. Some cultures crave stories, and some are like, what's with the stories? And you never know who's going to be in your audience. Like you, I tend to err on the side of stories. I figure even if they were not everyone loved them as much, at least they got the lessons from them. And the people who do love the stories definitely got the lessons from them.
That's right.
So what stories do you tend to use? Is there one or two that come up a lot because people just seem to really relate to them?
Well, I don't tell any short stories, so I probably couldn't put any stories here. But I will tell you, I have one story that is called the Jimmy story. And this story is, people want it all over the world. They write to me and say, could I have a copy of the Jimmy story? Could I hear the Jimmy story one more time?
It's a wonderful feeling.
I never thought it was the Jimmy story. I always thought it was how I learned not to make my husband feel wrong or stupid. That's what I thought it was.
I bet a lot of people could stand to learn that lesson, though.
They do. They run out on the break because I put it right before a morning break in training. And I can tell you, people leave the audience, go on their breaks, some crying. They pick up the phones and call their sweethearts and apologize for having made them wrong for the last 20 years. And it's pretty stunning, and it was an epiphany in my life. And what's so funny is I wasn't a trainer then. I wasn't. I was a salesperson in real estate. But I really caught on to the idea that if you ever make the other person, even if it's the slightest little thing, make them feel wrong or stupid, they will not like you and will not do business with you. So, by the way, if anyone ever wants that or you want to connect them to it, I would be delighted. But it's a long story. It takes about 20 minutes.
But you have it written up so someone could read it.
No, I have it on audio so they can hear it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not written up.
Is it on?
It will be. I might as well plug my book. I'm writing a new book right now called Llama Lessons, but it won't be out for at least another year.
So we've got to talk about llama because we've dropped that word a few times, and I'm sure my listeners are going, "What's a llama?"
Yes.
And it has nothing to do with a big animal that spits. So why don't we just transition right now over to that? Talk about llama for a minute. With one L.
Well,
llama with one L.
Yeah, llama with one L. Well, when I started teaching people how to speak, I discovered that they actually didn't know the art of a good question or how to ask a question that did not make another person feel wrong or stupid. You know, kind of like your used car dealer, you know, or you go in to buy a car and the dealer says, well, how do you feel about safety?
I'm opposed to it myself.
Yeah, I'm not into safety at all. But they ask that because they're going to get a yes to it,
right.
You see. And many years ago, I decided I wasn't going to make the customer wrong or stupid. So I had to really learn how to talk. And especially when I was talking on the telephone, because people need to be acknowledged. And they need to know what they're calling about or what they called for. And then we need, as the call center person, the agent or the salesperson, we need to be in control of the conversation, not give over the control to the customer. Because the customer often, even though we may not think they are wrong and stupid, they may be stupid and they may be ignorant.
I guess we have to acknowledge that. I hadn't thought about that.
We do. They may be completely ignorant about what they're calling about. They may not know what to ask for. They may not even know the right question. And an example, I trained an insurance company once, and they sent out $1 million worth of brochures. And then when the phone started ringing, we were all so excited. And the first thing the agent did was say, my name is with such and such of a company. How may I help you? And the person said, oh, I'm calling about the brochure that I got in the mail, long-term care. Can you please tell me something about it? And the agent said, oh, I'd be happy to. What would you like to know?
And dead silence.
There was dead air. Because you see, the customer did not know the questions.
Mm.
So we changed it to llama technique, which means listen to what the customer says. Acknowledge, that's the A, first A, what the customer said. Then comment or make some statements to favor, instruct, sell, handle, something.
Is that the M?
That's the M.
Or was M?
Make a statement
okay.
of some kind. Or 2 or 3 statements. And then ask a question. And then everything has to be done in a way that does not make the customer feel wrong or stupid. So, for instance, I'll give you a good example. What we did in that case was we said, hello, this is the insurance company. My name is Judy. How may I help you? And the customer said, well, I called about long-term care. Can you tell me something about it? And we told the agent then to use the llama. Now, if I'm listening, this person wants to know, right? She asked me about the insurance. And yet I know she doesn't know all the questions. So I'm going to say, thank you for calling. You know, it's wonderful that you called us today because we are prepared to help you with any long-term care insurance that you need. But let me ask you a question first. Would this be for yourself or for a family member?
Yeah, that just carries me through the whole thing and gets you to the next thing you needed to know, guiding me through it.
Thank you. Exactly.
And what I love listening
to, they made millions with that.
What I love about it is I totally see how it would work for a call center, but not everyone listening on this program is going to be a call center. I could see using that in a networking setting. I could see using that in a job interview setting. It's just good communication.
And, you know, if you learn it, you can choose. Like if you're sitting next to someone on an airplane sometime, Milo, and you don't really want to sit and have a conversation, you're tired, you've been training all week, and you want to go to sleep.
I've been there.
All you have to do is acknowledge the question and not answer anymore.
So by stopping there,
you know
that kind of says, I am not interested in continuing this.
Exactly. You can just say, oh, yes, this has been a long day for me. Thanks for asking, though.
When you have a room, because we were talking about the fact that some groups, they want stories, other groups don't, some are real fact-based, and how do you size up a room before you give a speech or a training to a large group?
Well, usually I, of course, find out who my audience is before I even get there. I believe, and I'm sure you teach people this, get prepared in advance.
Mm-hmm.
When you know your stuff, you don't have to worry when you get up in front of the room. If you actually know your stuff and you know that you don't have to worry about knowing your stuff. It becomes way more important then to look out at your audience and see what do they want. And that's usually what I do. I try to find out if I've got accountants in the room or salespeople, which I can get away with murder with salespeople. I can tell a joke. I can make all kinds of funny nuances and funny examples. But not if I'm training the quality call checking department of a call center.
Yeah.
In that case, I have to go step by step, detail by detail, and I will throw in a joke or a story once in a while, but they're not usually amused.
So your approach to training is very much about an interaction with people as compared to my training where I'm showing people how to get up and probably do almost the entire presentation themselves before they may or may not take Q&A at all. So when we come back from this break, I want to ask you about some of the things that differ when you know you're going to be doing most of the talking versus when you intend to be interactive. So we're going to look at that when we get back right after this.
Got photos that need improvement? Freshen your photo. Old family shots that have gotten damaged? Freshen your photo. Want someone or something removed from a picture? Freshen your photo. At freshenyourphoto.com, we turn the pictures you have into the pictures you want. Add muscle, lose weight, lighten face lines, whiten teeth, fix darker off-color shots. See before and afters from dozens of happy customers at freshenyourphoto.com. That's freshenyourphoto.com.
We are back with the third segment with Judy McKee, a trainer in communications, especially on phone support, but not just phone support. So one of the things we were just saying is if you're training a trainer who's going to be talking in front of a group for a long period of time and then maybe doing some interaction versus, say, a call center where it's going to be about immediate interaction to keep it short, is it a different approach or is it the same?
I am glad you asked me that because I had to think about that during the break. I really teach the very same thing. However, I teach a trainer to be able to manifest what they want to teach over a long period of time. But I am different from you a lot, Milo. I don't teach the trainer how to speak in front of the room. That's never my training. That's where you come in. I teach them content. They're usually trainers already. But when I train someone who's just on the telephone and they've never been trained or they have been trained in the data or how to use their database or how to use their phone, I still train them in principles of how to speak to the customer using the llama technique. They are to listen, acknowledge, make a statement, ask a question, and repeat this over and over again until the end of the call, in which case they end on a statement, bye-bye.
So they get to make the call that it feels like we're done here. Or maybe the last question is the one that you hear so much in customer support, is there anything else I can do for you? And you're just hoping for a no.
Isn't that a joke? Yeah, that's right.
But it works.
It really means, I'm through talking. Could you please hang up?
Yes, especially when you've heard them say it 4 times and you don't feel done yet.
Well, that's right. That means that they didn't listen in the first place, because that should never happen until the real end of the phone call. And it should really mean what I'm pretending it means, that I'm really done here.
Yeah, it shows.
But a lot of times they don't learn that from, they are not paying attention in a lot of places to what is skilled communication.
What advice would you have for younger speakers and newer trainers, maybe mistakes that they tend to make right off the bat or things to really keep in mind as they move into the business?
I love to get young trainers in my hand.
I remember.
I do. I want to mold them, because it's time to leap from my shoulders. I'm pretty much done on this field now. And I'm what you call leaning out. So if I were speaking to a young trainer today, I would tell them to sit down with themselves and ask themselves before they walk in front of any training room, what is their true intention? I would work with them on intention. What is your intention? What do you wish to do, have, happen? And at the end of the day, what do you want the people you are training to be experiencing? Not how good you were, not how motivational you were, not about you, but about them. So when they walk out of the room, they go, wow, I really learned a lot here today.
Because it's not about them being impressed with you. It's about with what they can do once they leave.
That's right. But I made that mistake myself in the early days. I thought it was about me being adorable, motivating, funny, etc. And they did tell me I was adorable, motivating, and funny. But then when I asked them, did they use the llama technique, they said, no.
What was that again?
Yeah.
I was too busy being entertained by you.
Exactly right.
If people want to get in touch with you, is the website that I gave at the beginning the best one to reach you at?
That is, they can also find us through just the positive coach approach.
.com or just by searching for words?
The positive coach.
So it's the positivecoachapproach.com with the word the at the beginning.
Our old address, which not the one you have, but it's called www.tyccpro.com. That stands for Train Your Call Center Pro.
Train Your Call Center Pro. So you got to remember the first four letters out of Train Your Call Center before Pro. Yeah. I think we've covered all bases. Judy, I want to thank you for
so much. It's a pleasure. And, before you go, I just want to say it's a pleasure to see you being such a big success.
Thank you. Thank you. Mentors like you at the beginning certainly helped when I was first starting the team building side of my business. I also want to let my listeners know that they can learn more about Judy by going to that website, and all of her books and CDs are available on Amazon.com. So I'm going to spell that for you. Judy spelled the usual way with a Y, McKee, M-C-K-E-E, and you can go to Amazon and search for her there. If you've enjoyed this episode, please check out other interviews that I have posted at fullspeechahead.com, and you can check that same website for information about my coaching and training in public speaking for you or your work team. I'm also available for the team building course I mentioned to Judy called Teamprovising, where we use games of improvisation to look at teamwork, creativity, and communication. And my motivational speeches on risk-taking get the whole audience playing some of those games. More on that at IMPROVentures.com. And with that, I'm Milo Shapiro, always moving full speech ahead. Till next time.
Another boring conference.
Liven it up with IMPROVentures and the fun of improvisation. Check out motivational speeches and entertainment that get everyone learning through play and laughter. For smaller groups, Teamprovising is our teamwork and communication program with more feedback and fun. Plus public dynamics, keynotes, training, and coaching on public speaking skills. You can be more effective in front of groups. Learn more today.
IMPROVentures, 619-542-0761, or see videos at IMPROVevents.com.
Got photos that need improvement? Freshen your photo. Old family shots that have gotten damaged? Freshen your photo. Want someone or something removed from a picture? Freshen your photo. At freshenyourphoto.com, we turn the pictures you have into the pictures you want. Add muscle, lose weight, lighten face lines, whiten teeth, fix darker off-color shots. See before and afters from dozens of happy customers at freshenyourphoto.com. That's freshenyourphoto.com.
Just a reminder that my own website for coaching and training in public speaking is publicdynamics.com. I'm also available for my team building course, Teamprovising, where we use games of improvisation to look at teamwork, creativity, and communication skills. My motivational speeches on risk-taking get the whole audience playing along. More on that at IMPROVevents.com. I'm Milo Shapiro, always moving full speech ahead. Till next time.